Under the crisp Shanghai sky, a new chapter in aviation history begins. The low hum of engines signals not a Boeing or Airbus, but the Comac C919, China's own creation, rolling onto the runway. This is more than a plane. It's a declaration of technological independence. Today, on Christmas Day 2025, the C919, powered by the homegrown CJ1000A engine, carries its first international passengers from Shanghai to Singapore. The cabin is a cross-section of China's society, all part of this historic journey. The answer to Washington's old question, can China build a world-class jet without Western tech, now soars at 30,000 feet. Yes. As the C919 banks over the South China Sea, it's a symbol of self-reliance and ambition. The U.S. tried to ground China's aviation dreams by cutting off engine supplies, but instead, it accelerated China's quest for independence. The C919 story is one of unintended consequences. A policy meant to contain a rival, instead, fueled its rise. The roar of the CJ1000A is the overture to a new era, challenging the decades-long duopoly of Boeing and Airbus. The Dragon has learned to fly on its own wings. To grasp today's significance, we rewind to Washington, D.C., where the aviation duopoly of Boeing and Airbus reigned. Their dominance relied on advanced jet engines from companies like GE and Pratt & Whitney. China, once a massive customer, wanted more than to buy planes. It wanted to build them. Enter Comac and the C919, designed to rival the 737 and A320, but initially dependent on the LEAP engine, a Western joint venture. As U.S.-China tensions rose, Washington grew wary of supplying critical technology to a strategic competitor. Fears of reverse engineering and military applications fueled calls for a ban. Proponents argued it was vital for national security. Critics warned it would backfire, costing American jobs and spurring China's independence. The aviation industry cautioned cutting China off could do more harm than good. The debate was fierce, but the decision loomed. The U.S. risked alienating a huge market and undermining its own industry. The stage was set for a dramatic shift. The question, would the ban contain China or catalyze its rise? In March 2022, the U.S. made its move, banning exports of advanced aviation tech to China, targeting the C919's engines. Licenses for LEAP-1C engines were revoked, and the ban extended to critical components. The industry felt the shock instantly. GE's stock dropped, and billions in revenue vanished. For Comac, the crisis was existential. The C919 was grounded, its future uncertain. Beijing condemned the ban publicly and doubled down privately, pouring billions into the CJ1000A engine program. The U.S. bet that China's engine tech was too far behind to catch up, but the ban became a turning point, forcing China to mobilize resources and talent at unprecedented speed. The assumption that China would falter underestimated its resolve. The attempt to clip the Dragon's wings only made it stronger. The race for technological independence was on. The years after the ban saw China's aerospace sector surge with urgency. The CJ1000A engine became a national mission, uniting engineers and scientists in a patriotic push. By late 2023, the first successful ground test was broadcast nationwide. By 2024, flight tests followed. On National Day 2025, the first C919 with a Chinese engine took flight over Shanghai. Today, it flies internationally, with China Eastern Airlines leading the way. Over 1,000 C919s are already ordered, securing the program's future. While the CJ1000A may lag Western engines in efficiency, its strategic value is unmatched. The C919's true selling point: reliability of supply in a divided world. The C919's rise is fracturing the global aviation market. Airlines now face a third option, one tied to China's growing influence. Belt and road nations feel pressure to buy Chinese, making aviation a tool of geopolitics. Two ecosystems are emerging: the Western Bloc and a China-centric network spanning Asia, Africa, and Latin America. This split complicates operations for airlines and lessors worldwide. Aviation is no longer just about technology, it's about political alignment. As more airports fill with C919s, Beijing's leverage grows. The US and Europe face a direct challenge to their dominance. The engine ban, meant as a checkmate, has redrawn the chessboard. The world of Boeing versus Airbus is over. Aviation is now multipolar and unpredictable. The skies have become a new arena for great power rivalry. The US engine ban's economic fallout has been stark. American firms like GE lost a massive market overnight, costing billions and thousands of jobs. The ban damaged the reputation of US suppliers, making global customers wary of political risk. Meanwhile, China's aerospace sector boomed, fueled by state investment in the CJ1000A and C919 supply chain. New jobs, innovation, and a domestic supplier ecosystem flourished. China replaced imports with homegrown production, securing a vast market for the C919. Boeing and Airbus now face permanent limits in China. The ban, intended to cripple China, instead built a formidable competitor. The economic center of gravity in aviation is shifting east. The consequences will echo for decades. Industry analysts agree. We're witnessing a great decoupling in aviation. Western manufacturers now defend existing markets, while China's good enough C919, backed by the state, expands rapidly. Airbus faces a dilemma: opportunity in China, but a rising rival in COMAC. The question of Western certification for the C919 could formalize the market split. China's R&D, once lagging, is catching up fast. Future engine generations will close the gap. The innovation race is now fragmented, with different standards and platforms in East and West. For Southeast Asia, the C919 is both opportunity and risk. Attractive financing, but deeper ties to Beijing. Airlines must now make political as well as commercial choices. The C919 is more than a plane. It's a tool of statecraft. Its success will be measured in influence as much as sales. The West's technological lead is shrinking. The future will be defined by competition, not cooperation. The sky is no longer unified. The aviation industry faces turbulent skies ahead. The battle between Boeing, Airbus, and COMAC will play out in emerging markets, with China's financing a major draw. International certification remains a sticking point. Without it, the market will remain divided. The next frontier is sustainable aviation, but fragmentation could slow global progress. Western strategy must adapt. Innovation, alliances, and resilience are key. The C919 story proves ambition can't be contained, only out-innovated. The race is far from over. The C919's flight from Shanghai to Singapore is more than a milestone. It's a symbol of a new global order. The US engine ban, meant to halt China, instead ignited its rise. The Western duopoly is broken. The market is fractured. The world now faces competing spheres of influence and technology. The future will be defined by rivalry, innovation, and complexity. As passengers disembark, they enter a world changed in just a few hours. The Dragon has taken flight, and the sky will never look the same. What do you think? Will this new era bring better choices or a more divided world? Join the conversation below.